During the British Raj, something extraordinary happened. One of the greatest transfers of wealth in human history. Today, I'm going to tell you how Britain systematically drained India of $45 trillion, a sum so massive it's hard to even comprehend. Imagine this. Before the British arrived, India was one of the world's largest economies, making up about 23% of global GDP. The country was famous for its textiles, spices, and crafts, with thriving trade routes stretching from China to Europe. But everything changed when the British East India Company arrived. At first, they came as traders, but they had bigger ambitions. Through a combination of military force and manipulative treaties, they gradually took control of the entire subcontinent. Here's where it gets interesting. The British didn't just take India's resources, they created a complex system of economic exploitation. They forced India to export raw materials at artificially low prices while flooding the Indian market with British-made goods. Indian weavers and artisans, once world-renowned, were literally put out of business. But that's not even the worst part. The British implemented something called the drain of wealth. They made India pay for its own colonization, funding everything from the salaries of British officials to the costs of wars Britain fought in other parts of the world. It's like being forced to pay your burglars' transportation costs. They also imposed heavy taxes on Indian farmers, leading to devastating famines. During the Great Bengal Famine of 1770, about 10 million people died while the British East India Company actually increased tax collection. When you adjust for inflation and compound interest, economists estimate that Britain extracted around $45 trillion from India between 1765 and 1938. That's about 17 times the total annual GDP of the United Kingdom today. This colonial extraction didn't just make Britain rich, it actively underdeveloped India. When the British finally left in 1947, India's literacy rate was just 12%, and its people's life expectancy was only 32 years. The effects of this massive wealth transfer are still visible today. While Britain built its Industrial Revolution and Victorian-era splendor with Indian resources, India was left struggling with poverty and underdevelopment, a legacy that took decades to begin overcoming. It's a stark reminder of how colonialism wasn't just about political control. It was about systematic economic exploitation on an unprecedented scale. And while we can't change the past, understanding this history helps us better comprehend the modern world's economic inequalities. This isn't just a story about numbers. It's about millions of lives affected, cultures disrupted, and generations of wealth stripped away. It's a chapter of history that deserves to be remembered and understood.